Imagine a country with no shortage of anything. Endless shelves, lights always on, money in every pocket. Food is cheap, water is clean, medicine works. No wars, no predators, no enemies at the gate. Everyone is safe, everyone is fed, everyone is comfortable. And inside that paradise, something quiet starts to break. Not loud, not sudden, like a slow leak in a sealed room. Suicide rates climb, birth rates collapse, people stop forming families, they stop forming friendships. They report being lonelier than people 100 years ago, with worse housing. This is not science fiction. It is a pattern you can find in three different experiments. It has been documented, and it has been simulated, and it has been studied for decades. And one of the most disturbing experiments started inside a barn. In 1968, an American researcher named John Calhoun built a paradise for mice. Unlimited food, unlimited water, perfect temperature. 8 founder mice were placed inside. 5 years later, every single one of them was dead. Not from disease, not from violence, not from anything a vet could name. Calhoun had run this experiment 24 times before. The 25th was the cleanest, the most perfect. Inside it, the colony did exactly what mouse colonies should do. The population doubled every 55 days. Then something went wrong. Young males with no role drifted into the center and stopped moving. When attacked, they did not fight back. They just lay there and absorbed the damage. Mothers began abandoning their young. Some forgot which pups belonged to them. In some sections, fewer than 1 in 20 babies survived to weaning. Then a new kind of mouse appeared. They had perfect fur. They never fought. They never mated. Calhoun called them the beautiful ones. They looked like the healthiest mice in the colony. They were also functionally dead. They had opted out of being a mouse. The last successful conception inside the colony happened on day 920. After that, no new mice were born. On May 23, 1973, the last mouse died. 4 years and 10 months after Calhoun shut the lid. Calhoun wrote that the mice died 2 deaths. First, the death of the spirit, then the death of the body. Almost everyone read it the same way. Comfort kills, abundance kills, a life without struggle destroys itself. That was the headline that traveled around the world. But Calhoun never wrote that. In the paper itself, he said something different. If a society has more people than meaningful roles, it falls apart. The killer was not comfort. The killer was the disappearance of purpose. Nothing inside the cage was worth defending anymore. The food never ran out. The water never ran out. What ran out was a reason to participate in the species. 10 years later, another psychologist tested the opposite version. In 1978, Bruce Alexander at Simon Fraser University built Rat Park. It was 200 times bigger than a normal lab cage. Rats inside had toys, tunnels, mates, and space. In each cage and the park, 2 water bottles hung. One was plain water, the other was laced with morphine. The rats in solitary cages drank the morphine until they died. The rats in Rat Park barely touched it. Some tried the morphine, then went back to water. Same drug, same dose, different world. The lonely rats became addicts, the connected ones did not. Alexander concluded that addiction was not about the drug, it was about the cage. Take a rat out of a meaningful colony and it will fill the emptiness with chemicals. Take a human out of a meaningful life and the same thing tends to happen. The cage just looks different from the outside. Around the same time, a third experiment finished the picture. In 1978, 3 psychologists in the United States interviewed 2 groups of people. The first group had won the lottery. The second group had been paralyzed in serious accidents. Both groups had been through life-altering events within the past year. The researchers asked them one question: how happy are you? The result shocked everyone. The lottery winners were not significantly happier than ordinary people. They had adapted. The new wealth had become normal. Worse, they enjoyed small pleasures less than before. Coffee in the morning was no longer interesting. The accident victims, who could no longer walk, were not far from baseline either. They reported real joy from tiny daily things. Brickman and his team called the effect the hedonic treadmill. Get something you wanted. Adjust. Want something more. The gap between you and happiness never closes. 3 different experiments, 3 different decades, 3 species. The same answer came back. Comfort alone does not satisfy the animal. Pleasure alone does not satisfy the animal. Wealth alone does not satisfy the animal. The animal needs friction. It needs a role. It needs something to push against. Without those, the system collapses. And the modern world has been very efficient at removing friction. Effort is optional. Hardship is outsourced. Even loneliness can be filled by an app. Look at the numbers. Birth rates in every developed country are below replacement. South Korea hit 0.72 births per woman in 2023, the lowest birth rate ever recorded in any country. In Japan, more adult diapers are sold than infant diapers. Loneliness was declared a public health epidemic by the U.S. Surgeon General in 2023. An epidemic, not a feeling. Anxiety and depression in young adults have doubled in 20 years. Suicide rates among teenagers have hit record highs in multiple countries. These are not poor countries. These are the comfortable ones. And here is the part Calhoun warned about, almost word for word. If the number of people able to fill meaningful roles exceeds the number of roles available, only frustration and breakdown can follow. Modern life has too many people and too few roles. Hundreds of resumes for one open seat, and too many of the old roles have quietly disappeared. Being a husband, being a mother, being part of a community. Each one used to be a stable identity. Now each one is optional, mocked, or hard to access. This is the human version of the same trap. Calhoun never said the problem was paradise. He said the problem was building paradise without rebuilding meaning at the same speed. He spent the rest of his career trying to design a fix. He called it ideational generativity, a long phrase for a simple idea. Keep inventing new reasons to be here, new work that did not exist before, new networks, new responsibilities, new things to defend that are actually worth defending. Family, craft, a piece of land, a small community. The mice could not do this. They had no way to invent new roles. Humans can. That is the entire difference. The experiment is still sitting there in the data. 8 mice, 5 years, a complete extinction. A cause of death no toxicology report could ever name. The mice did not have a choice. You still do, and the door is unlocked. So the real question is not whether paradise destroys people. The real question is what you will defend, build, or care for when nothing in your life is forcing you to do any of it. That is the only question Calhoun left for us.